card or go home. The podcast is real. Here's your host, Grounded Geek.
Hey everybody, it is another Sunday night, which means it's time for the podcast is real, and we are really live here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and tonight, probably tonight only, LinkedIn and Twitter. That's right, we're on all those places. We're just trying to take over all media. That's we just want to be geeks of all media. We want every single media platform to be showing this show. All it does really is just spread our audience out over 100 platforms, but we're just having some fun. So we're testing this out to see what it is. Hopefully if you're out there, you can join the chat and let us know where you're watching us from, whether that's like I said, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. This has got to be unusual for LinkedIn. I don't think anybody's done a pop culture show on LinkedIn before, so it might be a first. I have no idea. Tonight we got a great guest. I'm really excited to introduce him and share with you his music. It's amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that. But before we get into all of that, let me make sure I bring on my wonderful co-hosts, Utah and Aaliyah. Welcome, guys. What you reading there, Utah?
Greetings, programs.
Hi.
I am reading a special issue of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider Ham.
Oh, I love it.
Look
is
at
that a puppet?
It's actually it's a Hallmark itty bitty.
Oh,
like
okay.
These little
Gotcha.
tiny little plushes.
I just saw he didn't have. It looked like he didn't have legs, so I thought maybe it was a hand puppet of some sort.
He also doesn't have a space for your hand.
Well.
But that's certainly something that Spider Ham would talk about.
Sure.
So does it come off?
Yeah. It's just that it comes with a little story.
Oh,
This is in this issue. It's the honey baked heist.
Utah needs to have his own segment where he just features the things that he's
kind of claimed this time for that. He didn't even pitch it. He's just every time he has something that we ask him about.
Something in I just have piles and piles of stuff hoarded in the
Utah.
Hoarded in the attic because
tchotchke he has this week.
There's no other place to put it in the house.
And he keeps doing shameless plugs for all of these things. Hallmark and what did you have the watch last week? What was that?
Oh, that was a Fossil watch.
Yeah, the Fossil watch.
Yeah.
You need a dollar sign so that way you
I'm dropping these brand names, trying to get a sponsorship, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's all for the podcast.
Hey, if it works out, you know what that means.
If Hallmark comes calling, maybe they'll make a Hallmark movie.
There we go.
There you go.
It took me way too long to get to that sound effect, so the joke was it's not funny anymore by the time I hit that button. So never mind.
45 minutes later, cha-ching. What was that?
Yeah, right in the middle of the interview. Later, I'm going to hit it. You'll hear it again. Oh, remember when we were talking about sponsors 45 minutes ago? Oh my gosh. So yeah, how you guys? Has this been? It's been a week, man. We're getting closer and closer to the holiday season. That and the new year. Yeah.
Both,
so we got the holidays coming up. Well, some holidays have already passed. We just passed Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah to all of our Jewish friends out there. Mm-hmm. And then we've got several holidays. There's a lot of holidays this month.
I think there's almost 100 holidays in December.
Is that
what?
Right?
Yeah, except I don't know how many of them are
still celebrated today, by people who still exist in this
Peter
timeline.
Parker told me. That's how I know.
That exists. You said how
he keeps on coming in the shot. He's such a ham.
Oh my gosh, that was the dad jokes are starting already. Here we go. But it's in so last night, my mom was in town, and we went over to my married daughter and her husband were hosting her at their house. So they went and picked her up in West Virginia, brought her back.
Nice.
And so we all went to visit, and we hung out and did some stuff yesterday.
Christmas at the Carpenters.
That's right. We so one of our traditions, and everyone obviously has different traditions. One of those is to watch a bunch of different Christmas movies throughout the holidays. And so we watched Elf last night.
It's a good one.
And it just reminds me, like, this is where Favreau started, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, not really started, but where he really got kind of mainstream, right? Because he had done Swingers and
did Swingers.
What was the other one? Did he do Go?
No, that was Lyman, Josh. That was
thinking
Lyman.
Of somebody else. What was the other one? Swingers before Elf.
Oh, right. He did another buddy one with
Vince Vaughn was in that one too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's the second one was when they were both in the mob. Oh shoot, what is the name of it?
It was Made Men or something, maybe.
Made. I think it was Made.
Made. That was it. I think you're right. Anyway, that's
MADE, not MAID.
Yeah, that's obviously where he, kind of, broke into directing and kind of, showed his chops that he's good at this. But Elf is kind of really when he went mainstream, right? And it was so different from those other movies.
Yes.
But yeah, we watched Elf last night. And it got me thinking about what, the question that every podcast and radio show is asking people this time of year. So we may as well. What is your favorite holiday movie? Like, what is your go-to?
Jeez.
Every year. Like, there's some that don't make the rotation every year, right? At least for us. But then there are some that are musts. Like, these are watched during that season or Santa doesn't come, right?
Well, Santa isn't coming this year anyways.
Wow.
Not in my home.
There's if you don't watch these, there's not enough Christmas spirit to power his sleigh.
That's tough. Okay. All right.
What is it for you?
Let's see. There are a couple. There are a couple.
Absolutely,
of them.
Jay. Absolutely, and I'll explain why in a minute. I'm glad you brought it up, though.
That's a good movie, Gremlins.
Absolutely, it's a Christmas movie. Okay,
but
that is the you don't need to see that one.
Yeah, Leah, that might not be up your alley.
No. The comment I just brought up was the demo comment. I don't know why.
So Gremlins isn't up my alley. He just gave me
actually. Well, you know what? Actually, you should.
I think she would like Gremlins.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, Gremlins 2 might be. Well, no, Gremlins 2 is kind of slapsticky.
So hilarious, but you got to see the first.
You know what, Leah? Never mind. Yeah, you should definitely see it.
Maybe
we'll go back. Maybe we'll go back.
Exactly. That maybe it will be in a We're Gone Back. So I feel
like that's a perfect.
I am not revealing anything, but it might be in a future December episode of a certain podcast that's coming out.
Podcast that's certainly coming out.
Yep.
Certainly soon.
It definitely is.
Certainly. So A Christmas Story.
That's a must.
That's a must. And I mean,
you'll shoot your eye out.
I was gonna get my dad.
Your eye out. Now, is that because it's just that?
Because it's Northeast Ohio,
or because it's Northeast Ohio. Like is it the Cleveland connection?
I think it's partly the Cleveland connection because having grown up in Cleveland, it's just always been on the TV, even before cable, right? Even before TBS played it for 24 hours.
Yeah, but I didn't grow up in Cleveland, and it was the same way for me. So
so that's interesting. So then
every year it was on TV, and I watched it.
And it's just there's just something so wholesome about the comic, the comedy and the writing in it, and I feel like as children, every child has had that one gift that they want so badly that and so I think it's a very relatable movie, and it's funny because like I think it was a couple of years ago I introduced it to my kids. They actually sat through the entire thing, and they're like, that was kind of funny in some spots, really. I'm like, you don't understand.
Aaliyah?
Definitely A Christmas Story. And
you're gonna say Christmas Vacation too, right?
Have
you seen Christmas Vacation?
That's the Lampoons.
National
right?
Lampoons.
Yeah. My dad loves those. But definitely A Christmas Story. I feel like Grumpy Old Men is going to be playing nonstop this year.
Grumpy Old Men.
I have never even thought about that.
I didn't even think about that as a Christmas movie.
I think
I don't
so.
think so.
I don't
Really?
know.
I mean,
'Cause it's like in the snow.
It's not a Christmas movie just because it's in the snow. Frozen.
But
I'm tired of people calling Frozen a Christmas movie. That's the
It's
one
not a
I'll
Christmas-
die on that hill too. It has nothing to do with Christmas. It's just snowing. In fact, it's snowing when it shouldn't be snowing, so it's definitely not Christmas.
Oh, well, that's kind of the
Right?
plot, right?
Yeah, the whole plot is it's not supposed to be snowing.
he's
So
so
don't-
passionate about this. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't
It's
know,
a whole,
but
it's a whole episode. We can't.
that
well, yeah, we have a guest, so I don't want to get into
Yeah,
too
we
much.
don't
of
want
it.
to get too much.
What
Elf
was
is
the other
definitely
one you
one
were
of
going
them.
to say?
Yeah, what was the
Elf
other one
is
you were gonna say?
definitely one of.
Elf is definitely one of them in his household.
Same.
But yeah, I think the two that'll be on is Grumpy Old Men, even if it's not a Christmas movie, just
That's
because
hilarious.
it just fits with my parents so much. They literally, it was on like
The
I love
grumpy
those
part
movies.
or the
They're
old
really good.
part or the men part?
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a
little
little
bit of
bit of
everything?
everything. Yeah. I mean, I've told you guys a little bit about my dad, and
Mhm.
even today, going over to visit him, I was trying to give him a hug, and he was just being a dad, like picking on me, no, I don't want to hug you. Did you shower today? Like just being a dad, and I love it. But Grumpy Old Men and definitely A Christmas Story. That man will watch A Christmas Story all day long. And
Well,
just on
TNT will
repeat.
accommodate you on Christmas
right, 'cause
Day. They play it 24
Oh,
hours.
There's a
Oh,
kid,
no.
yeah. TNT or TBS plays it 24
One
hours.
of them, yeah, I don't remember.
My mom got him the DVD, and he was playing it even when it wasn't Christmas. Like,
Did he grow
It's
up
in the
TBS.
summer?
Did he grow up
Right.
in Northeast Ohio?
No, he grew up in West Virginia.
So
Okay,
there you go.
interesting. So there you go. So
Mhm.
it's not just the North, because for the longest time I just thought Northeast Ohioans and
Does have
Clevelanders
that
especially
connection.
were just passionate about it, but
Mm.
obviously
Mm-mm.
not. Well, I mean, there's a national cable channel that plays it for 24 hours
Right,
straight. So
Right. So obviously it must be a big thing for everybody.
right.
So we always watch at least one of the Home Alone, one or two,
Oh,
not any of the ones after.
Yeah.
Although I do have an opinion on the new one that I can share. I'm going to
Sweet
do that.
Home Alone.
I'm going to do that next week, though. I have a
Yeah,
whole. So
let's-
if you haven't
okay.
seen it yet and you're wondering if you should, tune in next week. I got a whole rant. No, I'm kidding. I
It's
do
a-
have
That is the 90-second.
It's a
DVD.
more than 90
exactly.
second.
Probably. No, I do have some things to say about it, and they're not all bad. So tune
Okay.
in.
Oh,
It's
tune in.
You're going to want to hear what I
Well,
have to say.
tune in anyway.
But exactly. But we definitely want to hear. We definitely watch Home Alone. We definitely watch either one or two, depending on what we watched last year. Maybe like it'll determine.
Gotcha.
And then Elf, and then usually Christmas Vacation is Christmas Eve every year. All the family they come
Appropriate.
over. We the
Appropriate.
siblings all open their presents to each other, and then we watch Christmas Vacation, and then we kick them out so we can wrap the rest of the presents and get them under the tree.
Right.
We still do that, even though they're
And
Anyway.
and the Grinch. My mom
Um,
literally called herself the Grinch for like
See,
an entire
The
season.
live action Jim Carrey one or
the Jim
the
Carrey one or the
cartoon?
original cartoon.
The live action one, yeah.
See, that's
But
I don't hate it. I liked it, but it's never. I don't know. It's not
Yeah,
been on. We've never watched it again
The live action version just doesn't resonate
for
as
some
much with
reason.
me.
I don't know why.
both.
I
They'll
like
watch
I
both.
I will certainly watch the original cartoon version with what's his name? Thurl. Who's the guy with the deep voice that that does a narrator?
I can't remember.
Oh,
but it's,
Thurl Thurl something Croft.
It's an amazing
It's an incredible voice
little
he had.
cartoon, though.
But yeah, it's a classic. It's just really
And then, of course, there's this one, which is probably the greatest Christmas movie of all time. And I have got to get one of these tree toppers. I
that
don't
tree
know.
topper is fantastic.
It is basically so for the podcast listeners. This is Nakatomi Plaza exploding,
Right. This is the part where
and
they're
Bruce
blowing up the
jumping
roof.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I got to get this somehow.
that is so perfect.
I
Oh,
don't know if Leanne would let me put it on the tree, but
well, it would even be more perfect is that if the helicopter like kind of flew around in the
yeah, it
sky.
was just like on a little. Oh my gosh, we could totally rig
Right,
that with like a
right,
Rector set or something.
Yeah.
Do they still make Erector sets? Did I just say a really old thing?
You did say a really old thing.
Okay.
But that's okay. I caught that reference.
They still make record sets.
No. Oh, see, okay, no. Erector set.
Erector set.
Ilya's like, that sounds dirty.
Yeah, I thought this was a family show. Let's just leave it at that.
I'm sorry, you dog.
So
I saw it. I saw it in your face, Leah.
Yeah, her face was like, what?
Okay.
So I will. So my final word,
You
basically.
can Google that too.
No, I don't want to.
Yeah, that could. Who knows what that might.
Oh, I hadn't thought about what. Okay, never mind.
Make sure you spell it right.
Yes.
I don't know what that means. But the final word, as far as I'm concerned, on Christmas movies is, Jay asked, does Gremlins count as a Christmas movie? You know what? If you watch it at Christmas, it's a Christmas movie. That's the way I believe it.
Fair.
Now, the way I determine what is a Christmas movie, to me, Christmas has to be central to the plot, right? Yeah. Like, not just part of the plot, central. Like, if it's
central.
If it didn't happen, it wouldn't happen if it wasn't at Christmas. Like, Christmas is causing it to happen somehow. Like for Home Alone, everybody's gone because it's Christmas and those guys are breaking in. At Die Hard, Nakatomi Plaza, right?
The
whole building is empty.
Christmas party. Yeah.
The police are not. There's not as many people, ready for something like this because everybody's off.
Right.
The only reason he's in town
is because
to foil the plot is Christmas. So there's somehow everything was driven because of Christmas. And Gremlins, he was a Christmas.
He was looking for a Christmas gift. That's
yes,
right.
and he is a Christmas gift, and so sure, yeah, that's a Christmas. So, but that's me. I'm not saying that you can't.
So Gremlins could easily be a birthday movie had they changed that in the script.
Right. I mean, it could have been any reason that he went and picked up that
an anniversary movie or
yeah. Anyway,
isn't that like the 60th anniversary?
But who am I to tell you that that's not, if that's your holiday movie, then that's your, go for it. Like
totally.
That's what we're all about here. World Gone Geek is all about. We're not gatekeepers on what
anybody
is the geek. We're not gatekeepers on how what you have to do or like to be a Star Wars fan or to like a Christmas movie.
A star what?
I'm just telling you that's just what I look for in a Christmas movie is that connection, right?
Yeah, Star Wars. That's a Christmas movie. No, I'm just kidding.
Let me think. Hold on. There's bright light. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't they sing carols at some point? No.
Is the star in the war on the top of a tree? I think that might be the determining factor.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, we definitely know it's not a moon.
It's that's not. That is no moon.
About?
I know. Ilya's lost. I tell you what. Let's do this. Let's talk to our guest. Let's go into that.
Let's bring our guest on.
Because that's why we're here, right?
Darn shooting.
So, in order to introduce today's, okay.
Oh, Jay
just told us
he took one for the team.
It's safe to search for erector sets, and Amazon has them, so they still exist.
I'm not
too old of a guy.
I'm going to have to look that up because I bet you the erector sets, the modern erector sets,
probably different.
Totally different than what we had.
It has to be because I could have killed someone with the one that I had.
I could have
killed them. I could have killed someone with the case it came in.
Right. They're like razor blades with holes in them.
Basically, yeah. Oh my gosh. The case was metal. The edges were so sharp.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. Anyway, today's guest is a multidisciplinary. Yeah. Today's guest probably has left. He's not even in the green room anymore. He's like, what is going on here? No, he's still there. I looked. Today's guest is a multidisciplinary rapper and come on, Utah. I'm trying to get this intro. Today's guest is a multidisciplinary rapper and producer who is tearing up the scene in the world of Nerdcore with over 5 million sound views on TikTok and 6-figure number of streams on Spotify. He's also a Twitch streamer and can be found making the Geek Convention circuit. That's where I met him here locally at Con on the Cob.
Nice.
Shout out to Andy Hop. Con on the Cob. And so met him at this convention, looked him up on Spotify because I was like, oh, okay, let me see who this guy is. And I was hooked immediately. Like, he's amazing. Like, his music is really good. In fact, just to prove it, he's just dropped a single on Friday and he's going to let us play it. So I'm going to play that, and then eventually I'll bring him on, and but this is a new song, 80s Baby, and and it's amazing. So take a listen.
Yeah. Where my 80s babies out here, man? I swear to not. It was a slash that will never go away from an era down.
So it wouldn't be a World Gun Geek show if there weren't technical difficulties. Here's the song.
Through the days, 90s through the nights.
All right. So it didn't happen again. Here it is.
Yeah. Where my 80s babies out here, man? I swear the 90s and the 80s probably the best of our childhoods, man. Yeah. We are 80s babies, you know. The vibe is crazy, you know. 80s through the days, 90s through the nights, reliving the past, so I'm just fine. We are 80s baby. Yeah. You know. Yeah, born in the 80s, raised in the 90s. The local arcade, you can find me. Beside me, a fanny pack full of quarters and stacked in the paper roller. And beat opponents till your reign was over. What if I told you that back then the water hose was just fine? That 9 steps put America online. If they were on the phone lines, we were outside nighttime. TGIF was the prime time. That Deion Sanders, baseball, football, they had no answers. Google Maps with a map quest, almanacs with a fact check. Two books were cool in that aspect. What a time to be alive, from the roller coaster rides to the swimming pool, cannonball vibes. It was a slash that will never go away. From an era that I'm still proud to say that we are 80s babies, you know. The vibe is crazy, you know. 80s through the days, 90s through the nights, reliving the past, so I'm just fine. We are 80s babies, yeah. You know. Yeah. Jackson in the Walkman, swinging on the swing set. Ground is hot lava, jungle gym's a safe bet. Pair of Grant Hills with a matching starter jackets while winning a bunch of tickets on Major Magic. Could you imagine? Color inside the lines like a marker do. While you smell the smoke, ribs from the barbecue. The PSAs that people made inspire you. Then take a shot like MJ and follow through. Future brighter than light beats, leaps and bounce to the pipe drinks to discover the zones that we ain't never see. Let's take them back to the trapper keepers, the broken speakers, doing the waves and mass crowds straight from the bleachers. Living life to the edge you could truly measure. From the paper airplanes to the cootie catchers. It was a splash that will never go away. From an era that I'm still proud to say that we are 80s babies, you know. The vibe is crazy, you know. 80s through the days, 90s through the nights, reliving the past, so I'm just fine. We are 80s babies, you know. We are 80s babies, you know. vibe is crazy. You know. 80s through the days, 90s through the nights. Living the best, I'm just fine. We are 80s babies. You know.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mark Cooper to the show. Thank you for being here, man.
Woo!
Woo!
Finally got to you. We finally got the song.
I'm all excited.
You know what?
It just had to happen, you know?
I can't tell you how relieved I am that you were still underneath that image when I took it down just now. He's like, dude, I'm out of here. Yeah. So I'm going to edit all that out of the podcast part, maybe. Usually I just leave it all in. I mean,
kind of entertaining.
This is us. It's raw.
It's kind of our
This is
MO.
what we do. Mark, that song is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I mean, there's references. Did you guys? My favorite. There's so many good references in there, but the one that really kind of made me laugh was our Google Maps is MapQuest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got MapQuest. That's right. That's so funny.
MapQuest,
we printed them out.
Printed it out.
That was too fun.
I didn't live through that, but when you were talking about jungle gyms, I was on the jungle gym, the playground.
Oh yeah. Did you play Hot Lava though?
Of course.
Yeah, I think Hot Lava that's carried through generations. I feel like that's lasted. That's something that even the younger kids figured out.
The floor is lava. You guys watch that game show?
Yeah.
I'm disappointed because that floor wasn't lava; it was water. Total. I was totally misled.
Yes.
Yeah.
I sent a very strongly worded email to that.
Yeah, we would want to see what happened.
By a couple hundred degrees. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. I had some issues.
Yeah.
So, Mark, tell us. So first of all, let me do this. So many of our audience we don't know where they are in the world of geek. Our whole philosophy here is that everyone is a geek about something, whether that's Star Wars or video games or sports. Right? We got sports geeks, so it doesn't matter. Like we are if you're passionate about stuff, you're geeking out over it, then that accounts.
Then welcome.
So not everybody who listens to our show might know what Nerdcore means. When I referred to you as tearing up that scene, can you explain kind of to you, what does Nerdcore mean to you?
Sure. Best way to explain it is just Nerdcore. It's just a core genre that really focuses on geek culture and any music aspect that can be anime, video games, science fiction, pop culture, all of those particular aspects. Saturday morning cartoons, whatever you grew up with. Yeah. Anybody can resonate with.
That's awesome. And you've got you're all over that, man. You've got like I think one of the most listened to songs is the Mortal Kombat High, right? I mean, at least it comes up first in the search, I know, and it's got a really high number of listens. And it's awesome too. If you haven't listened to it, you should check it out.
I like Mortal that one Kombat and the Dragon Ball Z one.
Yeah. I like the He-Man, which is fun because I just finished Masters of the Universe, like the new series.
One. Yeah.
So that was
appropriate.
Yeah, it was appropriate. So tell us a little bit about how you got into music. Like when did this become a passion for you?
Well, I would say I started music when I was about maybe 14, 15. My dad got me a keyboard for my birthday. I didn't know what I was going to do with the thing. I pushed a note or two or any of those aspects for it. Then eventually it turned into chords, and then got into high school. You get emotional in high school, and then you want to find ways to express music. So I started rapping about 18, and then the rest is history from there. Shout outs to Mike Jack as a person I started off with in high school with, doing raps and things like that. And really just constantly just kept growing and do what I needed to do. So I got heavy into video games and things like that, and used to play semi-pro for, the Halo 2 and 3 era around that 08, 09 region.
Wow.
And what I was able to do is just figured out, hey, maybe I should combine the music, the things I love to do, and go from there. but I didn't know that there was an actual community for it existed. This is around the time when YouTube first came up in 2006, and you had to have somebody who was a video editor. If you didn't, you were kind of out of luck when it came to that kind of content. Mm-hmm. And that was in the growth of, epic rap battles of history. That's in the same growth of JT Machinima. Machinima was big. Red versus Blue was coming big, like things of that nature. So it was just, it was kind of where you get in, where you fit in. But then I found out in 2015 there was something like that. Shout outs to Mega Rand about it, that there is an actual community and lane for that, and then the rest is history from here.
We're trying to get. I'm working on getting Mega Ran on the show too. I want to talk to him so bad. He's collaborated with some other friends of the show called Free Daps. I don't know if you've heard of those guys.
I have.
Yeah, they were our season finale last year. They came on and
they were my substitutes.
That's right, because
they
you weren't there.
That's
and
right. Hey, we call in the best subs.
They did a show with where they do it on Twitch, and Mega Ran was on there, and that's where because I've been following Free Daps forever, and then I saw Mega Ran on there, and then I started listening to him. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Like this is like, so I'm just discovering all these artists, a little bit at a time. I first met you at Con on the Cob here in Cleveland, and I was actually there because a friend of mine was doing the panel with you, and you guys were talking about kind of the people of color experience in the world of geek, and it was actually like an excellent talk. I mean, it was just hearing you guys' experience, and just I mean, you were on there with a good friend of ours, Chris Gully, and he's been on the show before and has talked about what that was like for him. That it was a very different experience growing up kind of a nerd in that culture than it was for me growing up where I grew up. Was it similar for you? Because that's something you can speak to in your childhood.
Yeah, I could definitely say what Chris was speaking about when it came to being Black and then being a nerd, and then the constant contrast of whether you kind of stuck in the middle. Like, do you feel that you fit in with the geek culture, you feel that you fit in with the Black culture, and then they don't really, mix the best way possible. So of course there's always some culture shocks when it came to that kind of thing. Because I went to a suburban school at that. So they already had some kind of aesthetic. If you were African American or you were Black, that you were into this kind of thing, you were into this kind of niche. But when you give them something different, like, no, I like this, this, and this, they're like, whoa, I don't know where you
throw them off. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes it can be kind of hard because you won't necessarily have the full gel of where exactly you belong. So it's one of those things where you have to adapt accordingly the best way you can. And that's the crazy thing about growing up with both of those. But I mean, and it's actually kind of crazy that, this new generation is so welcoming of that particular aesthetic that it almost looked like nothing we went through ever happened. Which is really interesting in the aspect of how the world is working today. So it's like, yay, it's great for them, but I just want to make sure that other people knew that there were people there that built that pathway for you to have. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. That's interesting you say that. And I mean, it's like, I think as geeks or nerds or whatever you want to, at least for me, we were never part of the cool crowd, but I feel like now we are, right? Like this
cool.
day, that's maybe what you're saying about like, now it's cool to be, it doesn't matter, what community or culture that you come from. It's cool to be a nerd now. It's cool to be a geek because we grew up and we took over. Like, we're in charge now.
Right.
The geeks shall inherit the earth.
Exactly. That's our motto. And I mean, sometimes I look at these Marvel movies and I'm like, the only reason this is happening now is because it was from our childhood. And people like my age and this our age, whatever. I mean, we're older than some of you
Except
guys.
For
yeah. They're the ones making the movies now. And they're like, oh, we want to, this is what we want to see. And so they're making that. And so I love that. That's pretty cool. It makes me wonder what it's going to look like, 20 years from now, what is,
right.
because my kids' pop culture right now is my pop culture from when I was a kid. Like they're watching Marvel movies, they're watching, and reading comics and stuff. So it's like, it's weird. It's like, we're going to have a couple generations that actually kind of adopt the same pop culture. It's going to be odd.
It's kind of like fashion, right? Because you see fashion trends.
That's true.
You feel like I honestly feel like, hey, wow, like that was really cool. I remember bell-bottom jeans, and now they were cool at one point, and then you see some 80s fashion coming back. It all feels like a cycle. And I think we're at the age where we kind of, because some people only see the beginning of the cycle and they don't see it loop around. But I think where we are, it's kind of cool to see it come back, and you're like, hey, I have some original gel shoes.
Hey, but Leah, look at it like this, okay? The Sonic 2 is both of our generation of them remaking that. So look at it.
That's true. Yep. Yeah.
Fair.
It's
and this time, but this time you get Idris Elba, which is like totally unfair.
That's really unfair.
Totally unfair, honestly.
Right.
I mean, I'll watch anything with Idris Elba in it. That's basically.
Yeah, you're right. We talked about this. He could read the phone book sitting on a chair, and I'll watch it.
I don't care what it is. I'm watching that. I love. He's my favorite actor right now. Well, I mean, we all know how I feel about Bruce Willis, but Bruce Willis is like my favorite actor. But Idris has got to be up there. He's like right now. Bruce Willis isn't really making movies. I mean, he's making movies, but they're all the direct to video now.
Hey! You just made some Die Hard commercials for the batteries.
That was awesome, though. That was amazing. So who have been your musical influences over the time? Like, who do you think you most kind of like feel like has driven your style and how you produce your music?
Man, I don't even know where to begin. The only reason why is because not only I'm a rap artist or things like that, I'm a producer as well. And I also score, like when I score films and things like that. So there's many different realms of things that can happen with me personally. But I would say rap, of course, I'm very biased. I am a Detroit native. So, of course, it'd be Royce and M. And, of course, I like Jay-Z and Childish Gambino and those individuals, like in the nerdcore realm of it. So, of course, that'd be Rand, Lars, Frenelot, Schaefer. Like all of those individuals, I look up to when it comes to the nerd scene and all those. But there's also people that are even before that, like from Delta Funky Homo Sapien. He was the rapper from the Gorillaz on the Clint Eastwood song. He's an inspiration. I'm definitely a huge 80s fan. So Phil Collins, Genesis, Daft Punk. And I've also had my punk rock days, where that be your Papa Roaches, your Linkin Parks, your Green Days, your PODs, your Stain. So I've been all over the place when it comes to different inspiration in music. So
yeah, that's an eclectic. You just named about 11 different artists across those generations or those genres
and generations
that I listen to too. Yeah, and generations. That's true. Yeah, that's amazing. Go ahead, Aaliyah. You look like you're getting ready to ask a question.
Oh no, I don't have a question. I was just like, this is not. It's like a completely. I mean, obviously, I know like Green Day and Linkin Park and stuff, but there's some. It is interesting how music and just different things, like you guys are saying, cycle back around, because I feel like if it didn't, then we might miss out on a lot, right? Like there was a lot of iconic rappers, artists, movies, TV shows, just things in general that were very iconic in the 80s and 90s. And if it didn't come back around, we would just
lose them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if your family knows another language and they don't teach it to you. It's like you don't, all of that it goes away,
Yeah.
All that history.
It does make you think, like, will there be a generation that completely doesn't even think of or know about the Beatles? Just as an example.
The Who?
You know what I mean? Stop. Or The Who. Right. Or The Who.
That was clever. That was clever.
The Who as well. They may not know who that is either. So you're right. Good point. No, it is kind of interesting because, like if I didn't kind of, I want to say make my kids listen to the Beatles or hear them at some point in their life, or really kind of like force them to watch Star Wars or put it on and let them, fall in love with it on their own. Would people have forgotten about it, right?
Right.
But then it goes back to what I just said earlier. I think about my kids 20 years from now, they're going to look back on their childhood and they're going to remember Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to remember Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
They might even remember Transformers. But
Oh.
it's all these like newer versions of them. But it's interesting. Like those are, and then they'll be in charge. And are they going to make movies that are
Right.
this? Like, have we reached the peak of pop culture and we're just going to keep repeating what's happening right now forever? Like, will we never make something new? That's the question. What do you guys think?
That is interesting. I mean, well, there's always been complaints about Hollywood not having any new ideas, right? That kind of predates any sort of nostalgia cycle of pop culture that we're talking about. But that's interesting, yeah, because I mean, like I remember reading the Marvel comic books and thinking to myself, "Oh, this would be an awesome movie," but of course, that would never happen because comic books were such a small, narrow market. It wasn't mainstream yet, right? But then to be an adult and to actually see these characters I imagined on screen in live action, and to see it done so well, is kind of crazy. I feel like that's a good bookend to my kind of geek experience of these characters. But where does it go from here, right? Am I going to be alive if this comes back around? Will it come back around? Will we move on to something else, right? I don't know. I'd like to think that Hollywood will come up with more stuff and maybe they'll just pick different source material, but who knows? It's all about nostalgia though, right?
Yeah. What are you getting ready to say, Aaliyah?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it'll be a cycle. It'll be a cycle because
But is it this cycle? Like, have we peaked?
Right.
Because
are we at the end of this cycle and now a new one will begin with some, and we'll see. Do you think we'll see a decline in the popularity of, like, say, the Marvel movies, and then 20 years from now?
Well,
well, then where would they get their content from? Are they just going to have to like create new comic books?
Where did they get their content
mangas,
before? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're going to do.
They're going to create what they loved when they were kids, and it's going to be this again. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So my parents, watch Leave It to Beaver and Andy Griffith and the Honeymooners and whatever.
Same.
And I watched. I mean, I still love Andy Griffith. If it's on, I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love that show. And then I watched Leave It to Beaver. I watched Gilligan's Island and those shows. Those were like more 70s, but those aren't being made.
They're not part of the cycle.
No. So those are eventually going to be forgotten, right? I mean, it feels like.
Yeah.
But these things are currently the kids are all about. Now, Mark, so it's kind of like with music, right? People, I'll ask you from a perspective of music.
We got a question.
A lot of people say that we've made all the music that's going to be made, right? And now it's just a matter of mixing it in different ways to make different music and things like that. What's your perspective on like the future of music, I guess, like as far as like what will be nostalgic in the future?
Well, just to be honest, the majority of music has already kind of has its particular trend of cycle anyway. Mm-hmm. They say the rule of thumb is 30 years that you see things changing. So like it used to be the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. So like when you're seeing things in the 2000s kind of got 70s disco vibe type of beats. 2010 had the 80s type of style. That's the Kanye West, 808s and heartbreaks, like heavy synth, heavy everything. And now 2020 is all like 90s flips, 90s everything. So not only that, pop culture tends to follow that 30-year cycle for what I'm understanding in the time capsule. So that's just some things that you want to think about. When it comes to nostalgia, it never goes away because somebody grew up with something that they know about that.
Right.
And I know that because
right.
Because the thing is, that's the type of nerdcore I do is nostalgia. I want to make it a situation where I know my dad will know what I'm talking about as the same as my 6-year-old little brother would know.
Yeah.
And being able to bring both of those together is something everybody remembers. Nostalgia is a memory-based thing. It's a place where you feel happy about it. You don't hear about bad nostalgia ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's just a bad
remember
memory.
the bad old days.
Right.
Remember when we
remember the bad old days when we had to use a payphone in order to call somebody when we were at the library?
Right.
Yeah, that would not stand in COVID.
Remember when I really, really wanted to know about volcanoes and I had to go to the card catalog
and figure
out the Dewey Decimal System and figure out which number was what, and then walk through stacks and stacks of never mind.
Yeah.
I grew up in a library. My mom was a librarian, so
well, I was lucky and got the Britannica Encyclopedia CD.
Britannica.
A CD. That's so funny. Yeah, we got the World Book when I was a kid.
The
World Book. We had the whole set though, like from a door-to-door salesman, like came by, my parents bought the World Book Encyclopedia from this guy, and they gave it. That was a gift one year.
Yeah,
and I was
what a great gift that was.
A gift of knowledge. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
it's like exactly from that movie 8-bit whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. They do talk about that in there.
Yeah, perfect.
That's hilarious.
Perfect. That was perfectly done.
The thing is, the problem with that is that World Book became what Google is for me now, a way to get my kids to stop asking me questions. So I would be like, Dad, why does or Mom or stepmom or whatever
that blue? Google.
And they'll be like, look it up in the World Book. That was an actual look it up in the World Book. That's like the actual phrase, like that you could just push a button and that would come out if I asked the question.
That's
now it's like, I don't know, Google it. I don't know.
That was my mom's thing. Look it up. Look it up.
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up in the World Book. So we have a question from the audience. Let's take a look here. Mark, is there any? I got to put my glasses on, or somebody else read that.
Is there a hip hop cycle, trend, fad, or sense of nostalgia you'd like to see?
Well, I do like lyricism. I like to see a little bit more of that aspect in rap and things like that. I'm great with melodicness. I'm fine with, catchy hooks and things like that. But, it's the thing is about the internet. I would like to see some more mainstream stuff that, means something most of the time, not just saying 5 or 6, sentences, even though nobody wants to be in the club and be in deep thought. I understand I understand the main differences between the two, but it's something that I want to make sure that, we see where it comes to that. But I know the trend. I like to hear more, more elaborate beats. I like to, hear different types of change-ups and things like that. Yeah, music is, it's been done over 100 million times. So the combinations of you coming up with something completely new could be slim to none with that. But the whole concept is to figure out how to make it like I know it's you. And that's what it is. It's just trying to make a particular instrumental or track and make that your identity. Like what is this kind of sound? Like, okay, that's like a Michael Jackson sound. Okay, that's like a Marvin Gaye song. That's like an Eminem sound. Like, even though they're using same notes that are similar to a lot of other people with different songs, what makes yours dignified that is your sound? And that's the thing. You want to make sure that your identity is recognized among whatever masses of people as you can for that sound.
Good.
That's cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
And you are not just making your own music, you're producing some artists as well, right?
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Like when was that? Has that always been something you'd wanted to do, or how did that start for you?
Well, when it comes to production, I've always, made the beats and things like that. And I used it for, for outlets of stress and things of that nature. So when I got a chance to, make a beat and somebody rapped over and they were like, hey, you should do this more often. I'm like, okay, well, great. So I started making beat tapes and things I love to do. So I used the nostalgia I like and made a beat series called, Saturday Morning Cartoons, where I took all the Saturday morning cartoons I used to like and made tracks out of it, and made actual instrumentals and going from there.
That's awesome. You've also collaborated with some big names in nerdcore. Tell us what some of those experiences have been like, and how do they come about? Like, I've always wondered like how a collab like that happens. Like, you contact them, they contact you, like, or you meet at a convention and we're like, we should do a song together. You know what I mean? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, like you and Crazy 8, still waiting on that.
Well, what's funny is it's really just, networking, actually talking to individuals. Nerds are nerds alike, so it's really just about asking. Normally, if it's the cool kids, they'd be like, oh, they're not going to listen to this message, so we're not going to send it to them anyway. So asking for collaboration is actually a lot easier because we're nerds,
That's awesome.
So I meet some at comic conventions. Some of them I just email online. Some we're already in songs together without even knowing until a big posse cut or a cipher comes out, and it just, it just blossoms from there.
That's cool.
And how does it work? Like, is it like you said, let's say you met somebody at a convention and you're like, we should work together. Do you sit down? Do you both like does one of you come up with the music, or you both come up with some rhymes? Do you pick a topic? Like, how does the creative process when it's a collaboration happen?
Well, it's different ropes of how you can do that. One thing that can work is that, you could probably sit there and be in a booth or, at a studio or at a convention where you could be able to record. But a lot of us live in other states, especially if we're going to comic conventions and things of that nature. So what we'll do is just simple. It'd be like we'll come up with a concept. They write their own things, record their verses, send it to each other, and then you just get it mixed together and then release the song. Sometimes they make an AMV video, or they make a lyric video, or even get together and make a real music video. It's just a matter of how deep the collaboration goes from there.
Yeah. I definitely.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, just when you were commenting earlier about lyricism, that is so when I listen to a new song, the first thing that I listen to is the beat. The second thing I listen to is the lyrics, because I'm very big in poetry, and with today's rap culture, there's not that the lyrics sometimes are hit or miss, and I don't want to say, like you said, you don't want to be in the club boo-hooing, but I definitely
be like, what is this about?
Yeah, right. But I definitely I liked your music because of the lyrics and because of the beat. Like I said, that's the first thing that I listen to. It has to be something catchy.
Agreed.
Like, can I dance or shimmy or whatever? Can I groove, get my groove onto this? But then can I actually like sit and listen to this music, or is it just a dance song? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know why I felt like sharing that, but yeah.
No. That's absolutely correct, because when it comes to hip hop and things like that, normally when it started, it was the words first, and then it was the beat. Actually, it was the DJ, then the words, then the beat. Because the DJ was the person who was scratching the records to make the break beat. Right. You know what I'm saying? So with it now, because back then in 80s and 90s, it was the DJ that would break the artist. Yeah. Now it's got to the point where it'll be like, okay, then it was the producer that would break the artist, like your Timberlands, your Dre's, your Jermaine Dupri's, your Preem, all that stuff. And then now it's like artists have gotten to the point where in this area that we can record at home at this point. So now they're breaking themselves, and then that's where that's where those disconnects come in. So it gets to the point, it's like, is the words really that important, or really is it just the beat? And we're back at the era where it's the beat that really drives the particular sales of it, because the DJ is just the person who just plays it. So it's like they get completely exit out of it. So it's like the producer makes the rapper in a sense. And that's the reason why we look at it in that aspect, which is not a problem at all, because it shows the marketability that you groove with the actual, the melody of the melodics of the music. That's the most important part of it. On that. If that wasn't the case, they could listen to an acapella, and then there's a spoken word section for that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they already compartmentalized what you're looking for in your listening based on what you want to hear that day.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of it that way.
Got a little shout out from our friends over at Blurred's Eye View.
Yay!
What's up, Chris? How you doing, man? Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Were you getting ready to ask a question, Aaliyah? Sorry, I jumped in there and interrupted you with Chris.
No, I was not.
Okay.
But yeah, sorry.
So going back to the collaboration a little bit, is there a dream collab that you would like to do in the future? Like, is there somebody you haven't worked with yet that's like, oh yeah, and maybe they're not even necessarily nerdcore. You just like to just be like, oh my gosh.
Are you talking shot in the dark or like a possibility that could happen?
Well, let's do both. Let's do both.
Absolutely both.
Okay, so if it's shot in the dark, I mean, of course, it'd be the M&Ms and all that stuff. But I mean, I got like a really weird like kind of people I would want to collab with. I would love to collab with Phil Collins, even at this age. You know what I mean?
Wow. Phil Collins.
Like Phil Collins or Daft Punk or
Daft Punk would be fun.
Mitch Murder, the Gorillas.
Gorillas, yeah.
I love Gorillas.
Miyamoto from Nintendo. I'm just kidding.
Actually, even Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park. Like that would be really cool, you know?
Can you imagine if you had like a really dope like rap set over his hardcore beat or something? That would be really sweet.
that would be awesome.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
It would be very cool.
I don't know if you're hip to J Electronica, but I think
Exhibit A through C, of course, yeah.
Literally.
He releases one project and then disappears.
I know, man.
Yeah, I know.
He just teases us. That's it.
But
he just releases when he's ready.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did release a project, but Jay-Z was on 90% of the whole project.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't have a comment for that.
You have no comment.
I have no comment for that because of the fact that like
we have no comment at this time.
And yes, Jay is iconic, but sometimes we just want to hear a little something, and it's not all about you. That's how I feel.
That's fair.
Exactly.
That's very fair.
So this morning I caught you streaming. So you're a game streamer as well. So you're into video games. You were playing a little Halo Infinite, I think, right?
Ooh, yeah. I want to play that so badly.
Yeah, I have not. I don't know if I already made my. I'm one of the people who didn't think. I'm like, I don't think we ever need another Halo. Like, I'm like,
but
I thought Halo
open
peaked,
world.
Like, I know. Oh well, see now that the campaign.
It's Halo
I'm
in an open world.
From a multiplayer perspective, I just don't. I don't do it anymore.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not open world?
No.
Oh, okay.
Man, so it's still linear? Man.
I'm just glad the Covenant are back, though, because when that deviated in 4 to whatever those other aliens were, I was so lost and just bored. Totally bored. And it had the worst ending of any video game I've ever played, Halo 4. And I think that may be why I was just poisoned on Halo. I was just like, I know it's an unpopular opinion. I have those sometimes. And
sometimes
I'm like, I don't need more Halo games. I just, when Bungie gave up, I was like, hey, I'm with you guys. You had a great run. It was awesome. Everything was great. You should quit while you're ahead. And Halo 4, I think, is the perfect reason why. But this does look interesting. But that kind of multiplayer, I've gotten too old. I think I'm just old and grumpy about it now.
You're a grumpy old and a man.
Well, I don't have the reflexes.
Sounds like Christmas.
But I'll do co-op, you know what I mean? But they're not releasing co-op until the summer.
That's right. I heard that.
That seems a little odd to me.
Well, co-op
it is, but it's not. It is, but it's not.
Yeah. I mean, if I finally do the campaign here myself, am I going to want to do it again with you, Utah, in the summer?
Probably not.
Yeah. Or are you, because you'll be done with it too. We'll have moved on to other games by then. I'll be done. Well,
here's the thing. Here's the thing about the aspect of how they're looking at in this game now.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of Fortnite, Call of Duty, and things like that, they have made Apex. They have now made a situation where they could have you play the game for free to bring you in, so they could be able to have different attachments, codes, traffic, things like that. They basically found some kind of streaming algorithm where they can get paid for the amount of people play at a certain time with the different things like that. 9 times out of 10, what they're going to do is they're probably going to release another campaign segment that's a side mission that comes with that in the summer that comes together with that. It's probably
and then you're going to want to do it because it's new. I would do that. Yeah,
they did that with Ghost of Tsushima.
They did. Basically. You're right. We need to finish that. I think the last time we played it was Extra Life last year.
I think so. I think you're right. Yeah, we did a little bit of Legends. Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead, Aaliyah.
I do have a question. It's not about gaming.
Oh, well, then
that's fine. No worries.
We've moved on to gaming is the topic now, Aaliyah. So,
no comment. No comment.
We're not going to rewind. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I know that you're into anime. So that's my thing.
All right.
What is your favorite anime outside of DBZ? Because that's very common. It's a little too common for me.
Is DBZ too easy? Is that like the too easy?
Yeah, it is too easy.
Oh, it's like, okay, everybody likes DBZ.
Have you listened to his Dragon Ball Z song? It's amazing.
Right. Well, obviously he likes it. Yeah.
That's why I said that. Outside of DBZ.
I got you. Okay.
Gotta know.
Well, I got a lot of favorites. I mean, that can go from Naruto to My Hero to Kenichi, the history's mightiest disciple, to Bleach to Yu-Gi-Oh to Pokemon. I mean, I like a lot of those aspects from it.
Oh, you got a My Hero song too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
So that's why I say I usually rap about the things I love. Like I got a Naruto song called Chunin Exams and Cobra Kai song, and I know it's not anime, but that works.
Oh,
that's
part of the nostalgia.
And that's coming back here. So I was listening to that just today, actually. I was like playing that in the car on the way to church.
Wow, really? That's awesome.
No, I'm not even kidding. I was on the way with my daughter, and I was listening to that.
That needs to be a testimonial on your website, Mark.
Right.
I listened to this on the way to church.
That's right. Songs to listen to on the way to church. That's a tagline. Mark Cooper. That's the title of your next album. Songs to listen to on the way.
On the way to church. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So and just bringing that up, that song, as I was listening to it this morning, I just thought, like, has William Zabka heard that? Because he it's so perfect. Like it could have been at least in the first season, right? Yeah. Or the second season, maybe not so much now, but it's so the vibe of those first 2 seasons. Like it is perfect. And I just feel like, I know Johnny's all into heavy metal and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like those kids would be like, you know what I mean? Like
that song could be introduce in the background somewhere.
Yeah, they could introduce it as some sort of thing that you have, or that they're listening to, and it's like, hey, listen to this Cobra Kai. I don't know, or at least over the end credits. You know what I mean? Something. Right. It's amazing. Yeah.
What's crazy is that I was bored one day and I just went to TikTok and it was like, you can check out your music and see if there's sounds and things like that. Oh, I'm like, all right. So I clicked. And then I see 300 videos. We're using the Cobra Kai song.
Wow.
And it scaled through all different types of kids. And, kids doing the little punch thing, some singing the song, others putting in their little compilations. It's crazy. So to be honest with you, I really don't know if those individuals have heard it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
To have that kind of reach and not know.
Tell me how that feels. Like when the first time you realized something like that went viral, how does that feel? Like you're like, oh my gosh, like all these random people are just like
I didn't know what to feel. But what I will tell you is it wasn't just that. It was like my Power Ranger songs and all that stuff as well.
Oh, that's a good one.
Resonating. And then what I had to understand is, I believe it was the biggest wake-up call ever. It's keep making the music that you want to make. Because once you get to that point, you see something viral, then you try to make something that's in that lane, it never works.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't have that intent in mind. That if it's not organic, then it's not gonna happen.
Exactly.
Isn't that what Black said in the beginning of his song?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, it
comes across.
I know. I am a big hip hop rap nerd, I guess, but
yeah.
Well, that's great.
Everybody's a geek about something. That's you know.
I
And
do.
most people are geeks about several things, obviously.
Yes,
You know what I mean? Right.
But I am curious, you know, like when you first started out, because like with Free Dabs, we were asking them how do they rap, you know, because it's not it's a talent, right? It's a skill, it's something that you have to learn, a muscle that you have to continuously work on. But what was that learning process? What was that like for you? Was it easy? Did you have to like, you know, like when you're working out, you have to continuously work that muscle, you know? Did you how did you start writing music? Was it just through poetry? Was it, you know, some people I know they wanted to be like a writer and they just happened to hone a different craft.
Well, for me, I wanted, as like I said, if we go back to what me and Chris were talking about at Con on the Cob about being black and being a nerd, there's a lot of, you know, as much as it sounds crazy, there is a lot of stresses that come with that. There is a lot of different, like, you know, you just kind of at home and, you know, you're not really with the cool kids. So you're not at their parties. You're not invited to those places. You can't ask that girl out that you wanted to ask out because you're not in the same categories with them. You get picked on, you get bullied, you get everything. You get the complex of, yo, you're not, you're black, but you're not black enough for us. So we don't mess with you like that. Like, it's all of those aspects that you got to think about. So one of my highest moments is being away from it, as in running off the bus to catch Toonami. And that's one of those things that, you know, a lot of us, you know, 90s kids remember, especially the nerds aspect, right? Like, I mean, there was a point in time where you could not say your favorite anime was Dragon Ball Z. You couldn't say you liked anime at all.
Yeah.
Your favorite show was either Family Matters, Friends, or any of those particular shows. You couldn't say, you know what I mean? Like almost at a
Bernie
point
Mac
they
or
couldn't.
something.
Right, exactly. You couldn't even say that you liked Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or anything like that, because there was a different elements would be like, oh, that's not cool. You should be watching, like, you know, BET Uncut or MTV, the Mad, you know, the Real World, or any of those aspects. So, you know, you get the people who say like, oh, you're childish because you watch this, and this. And you got to look at it from both aspects of it. So when it came to rap, just to get back to your question, when it came to rap, it was a way of expressing what it was. And around that time, like when I was 2004, 2005, the biggest artists, everybody rapped like they wanted to rap like 50 Cent or Eminem or G Unit, just all thug stuff saying, I'll do this and do that, even though we don't do it at all. But it was the formula of rap. But then I woke up one day, I said, you know, I don't want to sound like this anymore. So I started rapping about different things. And, you know, the first person that ever tell me I was whack was my mom. And the funny thing is, I let her hear something and she said, you know what, son, this is whack. So really? Oh man, mom called it whack. However, you're still doing this rap thing. I'll tell you what, if you can make a whole project while only swearing 3 times, I'll still allow you to do it. Okay. And the rest is history. Wow. I barely have any swear words in any of the words at all. And it's just studying and learning new words. It was a way to branch out and think and be able to stimulate where it came to. And then being a nerd, you want to be technical. You want to make sure things land the way they need to. And then that's where the muscle comes in. Then it's like, okay, I have no idea to figure out how to buy beats, and I don't have any money for that kind of thing. So what did I do? I decided to try to make my own. And then that's where I built that muscle, you know, for 17 years now. So
that's amazing.
Very
so
cool.
Do you remember what the very first nerd related song you wrote was?
Yeah. So
is it on Spotify?
No, but
is that the one she said was whack?
No, it wasn't that one.
Okay,
that's like one after. Yeah, it's right after. No, it was ironic. It was a song I made. It was called "I BR for My City" back when Kanye and Jeezy came up with the song "I Put On for My City," and it was funny because I was in that semi-pro phase, and then a friend of mine woke me up. He's like, Mark. Wait, your song is on the front page of Bungie.net. And I'm like, what? Man, get out of here. You know what I mean? Went on there and they said, yeah, IBR from my city, clear as day, right on the front of Bungie.net's front page.
Amazing.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Wow.
So that was the first one. So the reason I asked that is having been doing this for such a long time, 17 years, how would you say your style or music has changed since then?
You know what's funny? I'm not trying to be funny. David Cox is the guy who made the video for IBR for my city. So he was the individual who came up. No, he was the individual who called me and said, Mark, you need to check this out.
That's
this
funny.
is on Bungie.net. I'm like,
That's
are
incredible.
you joking with me? You know what I mean?
I'm glad he's watching. That's awesome.
So I had to stop you. I really apologize. But
No, it's all good.
Not at all. That's awesome.
But yeah, do you feel like your style has changed since then? What do you feel like? What do you feel like you've improved upon that you know or would have done differently back then?
Well, to be honest, I wish I could have kept going. I got discouraged when I made a Guitar Hero rap song, and then found out that Mims came out with a song called Rockstar, and it took from the lyrics I had.
Oh, what?
Yeah, like he literally plagiarized and took the lyrics and put in his own song. And I didn't know anything about copyrights and everything back then. And I knew it because the actual webpage, This Is 50, subscribed to me. And then the next day they said, thanks for, appreciate you subscribing or whatever, and then stopped following me.
Wow.
And then a week later, he released Rockstar, which is like all the lines I was saying, but they changed a little bit of the stuff, but it really was like everything I had. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this kind of thing anymore. Got upset, and I just started, writing regular rap stuff like normal. But
So do you freestyle?
Yes, I do.
You gonna freestyle? Sorry, I had to ask.
Well, why you want me to freestyle out here? What are you guys trying to do?
There you go, Leo. That was a freestyle for you.
No. I wouldn't. I'll give you a little bit. Okay. How's that? Would that work? If I just give you a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry, I get excited.
She's excited. She's excited.
Okay. Look. I'm on the podcast to call World Gone Geek. The physique so sweet, I make it one of my techniques. Yeah. I'm Mark Cooper. I'm a producer. Everybody know I'm super when they think about it now being Uber. I need an Uber because I know I got the drive to stay alive for people who never had to provide what is inside, whatever I survived the game, and probably see whatever I maintained the mainframe, right? How's that?
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Guys, our name was just in a rap. I'm obviously going to use that as a soundbite forever now.
Hey, that's just fine. I'll do it again. No problem.
That was amazing.
We'll just give you the credits.
You did sign the release, right?
Yeah, well, we're working on that. Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you. I'm sorry to put you on blast like that, but I had to ask.
Did I tell you about the Guinness thing?
No, tell us.
I guess I didn't tell you. So me and a team of 10 people broke a Guinness World Record of the longest freestyle with a team. It was 25 hours.
25 hours.
Yeah. No, wait, how does that work? It's like the longest because somebody takes over and then...
Yeah, so the way it works is you rap until you can't anymore, and then somebody has to take over from that. So we'll do like 4 hours, and then you get a 20-minute break, and then 4 hours, 20-minute break, 4 hours. And we did it like that.
That's crazy.
You have this on video? I need to watch this.
When was this?
2018. I gotta dig it up.
And each person was rapping for 4 hours?
Well, yes and no. And I'll tell you why. Some people stopped shorter than others. Some had to go longer than others.
Fair.
So there were situations where I actually lost my voice.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they would play a beat and we're just rapping and all that kind of stuff. I'll make sure I tag you some of the video links and things like that. But yeah,
that'd be great. I'll put it in the show notes for people.
That is crazy.
Check it out.
25 hours. How did like we were talking about this with free daps, and I just don't understand how when you're rapping and you know what you're going to say before you say it. I just don't understand that.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's mostly with practice anyway. So the best way of thinking about it, this is how it can work for me, right? If I already know the line I'm going to lead with, I gotta have in mind 3 or 5 words that already correspond with that at the same time. Know it makes sense, because if that's the case, people be like, you know what I mean, like dog, fog, grog, grog, you know what I mean, and it just doesn't make any sense. Now you have to make it conversational, you know what I mean, like you'll be like, I just saw a dog in the fog, and I have to bring them all, you know what I mean? It's doing that, and then once you get to that point where you got that down pat, now you start throwing in the metaphors and similes with those. So it's like, look at it like this. It's like playing, it's like jump rope. You know, like how you play double dutch and there's 2 things and there's people singing the song like that. That's the same aspect of freestyle, is where you're doing 2 things simultaneously at once. So not only you have to rap and do this verbally, but you also have to think of the next thing to say. Then you add in maybe 3 ropes where you add in a simile or something like that. Then you're thinking even harder, using your pop references and making more things relatable. Then you're bringing even more stuff, as in the delivery, the speed, the breath, being able to put all those things together. Then you're putting in the nervousness of who you're in front of when you're rapping these things. And then you bring in another part of making sure that nothing messes up, where you feel that you don't trip yourself up or say something over and over again, or whatever principles you have. Get what I'm saying? So there's many different obstacles that you have to juggle with those. And once you get to practice,
it just comes down to practice. Yeah,
I can't even tie my shoes and remember the name of my children at the same time. So
you have 6 kids.
It just says I can't do that many things in my brain at the same time. But I'm absolutely just awestruck by people who do. That's why I'm such a huge fan of free daps for so long. I mean, every time they do what they do, I'm just like staring like, what, how did that just happen? It's great. Yeah, no. So your talents are amazing, and I'm in awe of them. It's really great music. But I mean, we're kind of getting coming up on where we would normally try to wrap things up, but I know that you just talked about your release date for your new album. You just told people that today. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So the final, I guess, is quintrilogy, because it's 5 projects. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy. Like
it's the 5th in the trilogy.
The 5th. Yeah.
It's like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
So what I'm gonna do with that is it's actually gonna come out Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022.
Nice.
Yeah. So official Tuesday.
That's right. It's 2-2-2-2.
2-2-2.
And it should be 5 or 6 twos. I'm pretty sure it's 5.
Yeah, I think 2-2-2-2-2. Yeah. Yep.
And it's Tuesday.
All right, great.
And
is that significant? Sorry.
Just because it's all the 2s. It's the first time. I mean, that's never happened in history, or it's like not gone again forever.
Never. Yeah.
Where the 22nd of the second month falls on a Tuesday in a year that ends in 2s. I don't know. It's just one of those. It's just one of those weird things that nerds like.
It won't happen for another 1,000 years.
It's cool, man.
Right. And then I'll think about, on that release day, I'll be on stream eating tacos, and there we are.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Yes. The ultimate Tuesday is.
It all comes together.
It sure will be.
Taco
Tell us a little bit about that album. What can we expect?
Well, I should have just sent you. I should have sent you the trailer thing, where it's actually explains everything, like in the way of what honest trailers or Stream Junkies would do.
Oh, that's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but the way it works is that if you've been watching or listening to the Player One series, it's me trapped in a video game called Nerdcore. So I have a villain named Major Label that traps all the nerds in the game of Nerdcore.
Okay.
So
in one place.
Yeah. So what happens is I get a Nintendo Power Glove, which I have. And the journey is to return it to the Rushmore Nerdcore, which are the pioneers of the genre. Return what's the Allspark. So I combine all those things together. And then the Power Glove, since it has numbers, I can store my favorite childhood heroes to talk to during the game. So you'll hear like the voice of Goku, maybe Vegeta, SpongeBob, Optimus Prime, Zordon, like Tommy from the Green Ranger, and whoever I choose to pick.
Oh, I thought you were saying the Rugrats.
No.
I'm just joking.
But I can see when you would think that because I do have the cast of SpongeBob in it. So.
Mhm.
Oh, that's funny.
Like that. Johnny Bravo's in there too. Timmy's dad. You know, just having those aspects in it combined together. So I get to go to Gerald's Field, which is where you'll see it's the land of the lost players. Everybody has a power glove, but has a number on the top, kind of like you see stats in real life. You know, people treat other people different because of the level of status in life they're in.
Whoops, sorry about that.
Yeah. So no,
you're
good.
Tapper again.
Yep, in Die Hard is definitely the situation here. Yeah,
trying to remove it. That was my subtle hint. Are there any references to Die Hard?
No.
That's really good.
There's a yippee-ki-yay in there somewhere, Jeff. I'm just
kidding. Definitely.
So that's Tuesday. The literal Tuesday in next year. You need to check that out. So where can they find more information?
Oh, it's easy. They can always go to my website, itsmarkcooper.com. So that's ITS Mark Cooper. All streaming platforms, all socials, all those things there. Works out really well for them. So, you know, this is the best way to find me. Other than that, you'll find Mark Curry. So
yeah, I did.
Or you're going to hang with Mr. Cooper.
Right. The wrong one.
Yeah. not the one you were looking for.
Exactly.
Right. Oh my gosh. Well, dude, it's been just amazing having you on the show and hearing all about this. I really am a fan of your music. It's really, really good. And I do listen to it on the way to church. So, or at least I did today. But thank you so much for spending this time with us. We really appreciate you taking time out of your day and sharing it with us.
Well, I appreciate you guys. So thank you so much.
All right. And maybe we'll talk to you again in February. We'll try to see if we
should
can't
get you back
find
in
out.
February.
Yeah.
And that'd be awesome.
And make
Your
sure
album comes out.
Make sure to send me the links for the Guinness thing if you can, and then the trailer you were just talking about, because I'll put those in the show notes for the people who are listening to this now on podcast. So if the future holds up to what I just said, you can look down right now and see those links in the show notes. It's weird. I just predicted. It's I don't know if it doesn't happen, then there was a glitch in the Matrix. You're definitely looking in the wrong place.
Over here.
So we don't have a 90-second geek rant this week because nobody
had a rant.
Nobody had a rant. So this is my chance to tell everybody we don't want to only be the people talking on the show. That's why we have guests, right? But we want the fans to have something to say too. We want people who listen to the show to get their opinions, their reviews, their praises, whatever it is you're passionate about right now. We want to celebrate that with you, or commiserate with you if it's something that you don't like that's going on. Like Cowboy Bebop is already canceled, the live action. I mean, that didn't last very long.
I didn't see that. Why?
Yeah.
What happened?
Who knows? But
you know what happened.
Me? I do. I haven't seen it yet, so I'll let you know, I guess. I'll let you know if I notice
it's pretty simple. Netflix just didn't see a lot of money in a second season. That's all.
Yeah, I guess so. At least this season had sort of an ending. You know what I mean? So it's not like it left us hanging hugely or anything.
That's fair.
But anyway, maybe you have an opinion on that. Maybe you think it's good that it was canceled. Maybe you, I know there's people who have opinions on how Ed was portrayed. I'd love to hear from you. So please go to speakpipe.com/worldgonegeek. You'll have 90 seconds to just let it all out, guys. Just tell us what's on your mind. We'll play it in this segment at the end of the show, and we'll talk about it. And that, because that's the benefit of having your own podcast, is you get the last word. So we will say something about it. But we do want to hear what you have to say. So please go to speakpipe.com/worldgonegeek. Special thanks again to Mark Cooper for being here. Thanks as always to my partners of crime, Utah and Aaliyah. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. We're broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, and Twitter tonight.
What's up with that?
I don't know. It's crazy. But we're on all those things at World Gun Geek. Get social with us. And we're growing our Patreon account. So check us out at patreon.com/worldgungeek. And that's it, man. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for coming.
We're all waving.
It's been awesome.
We're